Happy Friday and welcome to Bold Badass Business, where we bring you incredible, amazing people who are changing the world. And today I am thrilled to have here all the way from Andalusia, Spain, Helena Dunuynck, who is a incredible leadership coach for conscious women leaders. I have been thrilled to meet Elena through some of the high level masterminds that we are in, and just can't wait to share her with you. And today we are talking about something that is near and dear to both of our hearts, and that is why most coaching models really don't work for women in business and also for men too. So welcome, Elena. Let's jump right in.
Hi, Barnsley. Thank you for having me. I am thrilled to be here. Hi, everybody.
I'm thrilled you're here too. And I know that we're going to just give them lots of tidbits and hacks and strategies that they can
Mhm.
use to think about how to choose a model that will actually work for them instead of getting into a program that doesn't work. So let me ask you this, Elena, first. How did you really decide that you wanted to be a leader for conscious women leaders?
Whoa, my leadership coaching goes way back. I started coaching in 2007, which is many years ago. And originally, I was involved in executive coaching, leadership coaching, corporate coaching. I found that I love to work with women. Nothing, please, because I know this is a mixed audience. I have a partner, I have a son, so I love men. It is not about, being in the opposites or being in conflict. It is about making a choice who you want to work with, because it's a different approach, it's a different narrative. So I chose to work with women like 6, 7 years ago because they have different challenges. I guess you work with both men and women in your business coaching, and maybe you also feel that things are different. We are different. There's nothing you can deny in
Yes.
that. I mean, we are physically different, we are emotionally different, we are hormonal different, we are culturally and historically, we have different experiences. And so that means that traditional coaching models that were developed by men that are perfectly fine, that are very linear, that are very focused on goals, are not the ideal coaching approach for women. Does that make sense?
Mm, it absolutely makes sense. And, especially also for those of us who are creative types, we're
Mhm.
entrepreneurial types and we do not herd well. We need a structure that we create ourselves. I was just talking about this with someone earlier today, Elena, that you know, we need to set a structure that works for us and not
Exactly.
something that's necessarily been imposed. So these goal-oriented coaching models, how do you find that they don't work for women? What are some of the specific issues that come up for women when they try to get into these goal-oriented programs?
Well, basically, these goal-oriented programs are very linear. Okay, uh, let's look at the growth model. And once again, there's nothing wrong with it as such. But basically, it defines you are here now. There is where you want to go. There's a gap. And how are we going to fill that gap? And we start with strategies and tips and tricks and development and growth and capability and skills development and things like that.
Mhm.
But goals as such, well, let me go back. When you look at us as women, as a population, um, how long is it that we fully participate to the political, economical background and reality and society? I mean, look at, I don't know in the US because I was born and raised in Europe, but when did we have the right to vote? As of when did we have the right to own our personal bank accounts, the right to divorce, the right to choose if we have children or not, etc., etc. But also, since when are we entrepreneurial and also as executives at the levels that a lot of women are right now? We do not
Yeah,
have role models. Yeah, maybe your mothers
Yeah.
were already, professionally active or in communities or in politics. Maybe your mothers, for some, maybe our grandmothers, depending on how old you are. But we don't have like a framework. Men don't have a framework to deal with us also, because this is all very, very new if you look at it evolutionary. Does that make sense?
Absolutely does.
So
Women first entered the workforce in World War I because the men were away, right? And so
exactly.
women took over, really entered in large part the workforce then. And we didn't get the right to vote until, what was it, 1921, I believe, 1920 or 1921 in the United States. I always forget which one
Yeah.
is the UK and which is the
Mm-hmm.
United States. There's a difference of 1 year. And, of course, that was white women. And so women of color, Black women didn't get the right to vote until 1965. So, we are really newly in to the workforce and also into entrepreneurial ventures, though you and I both
Mm-hmm.
know that women are opening up businesses at a much higher, faster rate than men are.
Absolutely, and we are also doing a lot better at school, at university. There's a lot of things going on that are basically contradictional, because if you look at what we call then for women the power blocks we have, there's the socialized mind. Okay, we were born and raised to be nice, to be friendly, not to be disturbed, to serve. So basically, there's nothing wrong with that as such, but these are our patterns that are almost epigenetically inside of us. Like this is a girl, and this is a boy, and this is a woman, this is a man. This is how you are supposed to act and behave and choose and things like that. So there's already there, I feel, a lot of women, entrepreneurial women, feel guilty because they're not there for family, or they're not there for their parents, or they don't do enough self-care. There's a lot to do about, so they feel guilty because we are expected to be or to do or to behave what is normal. That's one. The second one is confidence gap. um, Imposter syndrome. A lot of us have,
Mm.
because we have no role models, and because there's this unconscious bias, and because we have to combine so many things at the same time, we sometimes not feel confident. I have clients that are perfect for a job, and that they are reluctant to apply for a job, that are reluctant to apply for a promotion, because they feel that they don't, they are not good enough. This self-concept is something that is, research shows that a lot more women suffer from that than men. And then the other one that we have is the expectation gap. If you ask men, entrepreneurs, in 3 years, what do you think you will achieve? What will be your revenue? How many people will work on your organization? Things like that. For them, the sky is the limit in general, while women always keep their expectations low. And there we go. If you have a traditional linear coaching approach and you ask a woman, what's your goal? Many, many, many times she will give you a sub-optimized goal, because she
Mhm.
doesn't understand the potential that she has, because we have not been raised like that. We have not been raised to show up and to boost and to celebrate our successes and to communicate about how good we are. We have not been raised like that. So if you are in a traditional coaching system, and for the audience, I would say, please be aware of that we set our goals based on what we think right now that we can do. We think about the potential and the possibilities and the approaches and the strategies right now, and based on that, we set our goals. We should go the other way
Mm.
around. We should set our aspirations, yeah, and then go back and step by step move towards that.
I love what you're
On
saying
top
here.
of
That's
that,
really powerful, Helena, because,
yeah,
if we're setting goals based on current reality and we're just saying, okay, this is
yeah,
where I think I'll be in a year or 5 years, then we are never going to hit the biggest goals. But as you point
exactly.
out, if we set the really juicy big goal, then we can back up and say, well, what needs to happen for this to come about? What
Mm,
will be my goalposts? What will be the ways that I'll know I'm creating it? What will be the interim steps? So I really like what you're saying. Working backwards is
yeah,
always more powerful. Um, because otherwise, when we're just trying to sort of piece it together, we're just undirected. We're undirected and
exactly.
largely misdirected, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And then another thing that comes there is that women that are successful, women that have a career, that have basically um, suffered to get where they were, that have made specific choices to get where they are now. How many women dare to say that they are ambitious? And why is that? Because an ambitious man is, bravo, he gets the applause.
Mhm.
An ambitious woman, or a woman that is, a go-getter, or that is result oriented, they have another name for that. Yeah, I'm not going to bring
Yes.
it here in public, but all those
Well, it's
things.
really okay because we can say whatever we want. The bitch word, the witch word. How many
Exactly.
words have been used for women? Oh, she has balls,
Hmm.
that are really, really derogatory.
Mm,
So much pushback for strong women who are going
exactly.
after what they want.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes, yes, I'm totally
exactly.
in agreement. And Helena, what I hear you saying, for those of you just joining us, we're having a really interesting discussion about how some of the more masculine, or we could say male, but masculine models of coaching really don't work for women. The ones that are extremely linear don't make sense. Well, there's a big part of this, I think, that has to do with the fact that we're collaborative. Helena, what do
Mm.
you think? We're really team oriented as women. We want everyone to be included and we want to hear everyone's voice.
Absolutely. There's a completely different approach. We are indeed, like you say, collaborative, we are inclusive, we are long term. Um, Basically, we are in flow, we are looking for harmony. That's another nice one. We were talking about, I published an article on my LinkedIn profile last week about that. We are always talking about balance, work life balance. First of all, work life, like those are two different things, but let's keep that out of the equation. But balance, again, is very, very linear. It's very masculine. We always lose because we cannot have balance. It is impossible to have balance in every aspect of our life. If we just transform that to harmony and integration, where we
Mm.
make choices and set priorities based on the situation we are in our life, because we are in different stages. We are mothers combining our entrepreneurial activities or careers. We are you know uh, growing in terms of development. We need time for ourselves. So there's so many things, there's so many aspects in our life. We cannot keep balance, but we can keep harmony. And harmony, you can
Mm.
feel it's a feminine quality. I'm not saying man cannot have that quality, but if we label it, it's a feminine quality that should replace balance, because it makes
Oh,
us feel a lot better, because it is aligned with our mission, with our vision, with our values, with our belief system. Does that make sense?
yeah. What I'm hearing, and let me know if this is right, what I'm hearing is that really harmony is that interior quality of just being in a state of unity or state of well-being, a state of harmony.
Beautiful.
Whereas
Hmm.
balance is really absolutely, it's an external thing. It's like one of my
You're
clients was talking,
juggling.
yeah, one of my clients was talking about a mobile, in my Make It Happen mastermind, which is all women in that particular program. And it was like a mobile and you have all these things on it. And suddenly one thing's in balance, but another one isn't. And it's always
Mm,
turning and always changing. So the concept
exactly.
of balance is really to achieve balance. We achieve balance if we're going to get to it. We got to do it over and over and over and over again. And sometimes it's just for a moment. But harmony is a quality that we can bring to all parts of our life. Am I on the right track with what you're pointing out?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. That is very well said. Yes.
And
so you see,
as you
we're
talk,
adding up elements to create awareness about what we need in order to get where we want to go.
we're the super glue too, really, in our families. We are the super glue. And in our businesses, bringing people together, we're the super glue. And so when we bring that aspect of harmony that you're talking about to the groups that we're part of, we can actually really have a huge impact.
Absolutely. And I think it's also very important to maintain these qualities as an entrepreneur. If you start your business, if you develop and grow your business, if you achieve what you want to achieve in your professional life, to keep these qualities. Because although some people might define them as weakness, they're not. They are very, very, very strong in terms of creating sustainable long-term relationships, creating sustainable long-term business, and make choices that are aligned with your values, with what is really important for you. I see a lot of women starting businesses because they want to change something in the world. I did that. I'm pretty sure you did that. And so it's not about the money. The money is a result, but it's not a primary thing. If you look at what they say, the purpose, people, profit, then this is the sequence that most women work in: purpose, people, profit. And the more masculine way, and what we see in organizations, we cannot deny, is that in many, many organizations, profit comes first.
Profit, yes. And they really don't have to be exclusive. And this is what I teach in my program, because we actually do very carefully track every bit of income coming in. We track everything basically. And the reason we do that is not because it's all about getting into six figures, multiple six figures, seven figures. It's not about that. It's about knowing how much impact we're making. And when the money's coming in, like I just got a text right here. I love this. I have to share this. This is pretty big day. $7,000 a day for one of my clients. Love that. Just today, 7,000 came in for her, and she's just excited, super excited in one day. That means to her that she has impacted an entire family, because she's an estate planning attorney, and she's impacted the person who wants to have their loved ones taken care of. So we use the money as a measure. And I think actually many coaching models, I'm going to say that many coaching models actually do not work because they do not carefully track that. That must be tracked along with the internal locus of values that you're talking about. It needs to go together. It shouldn't be.
Absolutely. Once again, it's integration. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Because you cannot have a business and grow a business if there is no money. Yeah. You cannot survive if there is no money. Money is, like you say, it is a tracking of value that you create. It is basically an exchange, an interaction, an energy that is there. The thing where I say purpose, people, profit, and it is all about the profit, is where organizations are building businesses and taking actions that are not ethical, or that are not really focused on how people feel, how people can thrive within that. So basically, they have to be all three. It is about, again, the harmony between the three. Because I guess if you have the first two right, the profit is also always coming. But if you only focus on the profits, then you will be in danger in terms of people and purpose. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. We will not sustain a business because people come back to us due to relationship, really. They come back over and over and over again. And this is where, when we talk about models, say, of sales that are masculine, what's a sales model that's masculine? It's transactional. It's based on, okay,
Exactly.
I sell you something, Helena, you give me money, and we're done. But
Exactly.
women, because we are socialized, and I believe also we're innately, we have this gift for being relational. We will actually, in sales, we realize that what we do before the actual money is exchanged and what we do after, all of that is important. And we are more apt to nurture our customers, which really
Absolutely.
means we can have an advantage as long as we monetize that too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you can see that it is a lot more
I think you just went mute for a second, Helena. Uh, your microphone may have just can you say something and let's make sure your microphone is working, or maybe you froze. All right, so in this case, Helena, hopefully you can hear me. If you will just go out for a second and come back in. Oh, there you are, you
cool. Yeah.
unfroze. Yay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, that happens
Something
again, just
with the
go on
internet.
out, I'll come back in. I know that we are doing the transcontinental thing today since you're coming in from Andalusia. You said something I think is so profound, and that is that we as women want to change the world.
Yeah.
And I really believe that. And I know there are men who do as well. But what I always hear from women is that they're volunteering here and there. Even when we have our own business, we're doing volunteer
Yeah.
work. Even when we're single moms like me, we're doing volunteer work. We're going and loading up backpacks with diapers for people who don't have diapers. We are always
Beautiful.
caretaking of others, even when we're single moms, when we're mompreneurs, when we are corporate moms. So Helena, how do we create this elusive harmony that you've been talking about? What I know my listeners want to know, how do we do that when we have so
Um,
many puzzle pieces in our lives, in our
yeah.
businesses?
Harmony, like you said, is an internal state. It is, you could say it is like, it is a mindset, but that means, that refers too much to the mind. For me, harmony is in the heart. And
Mm,
basically, what I work with my clients is to really be very, very clear about who you are and what is relevant for you in this moment, and also where you want to grow, and to see what choices you need to make, because
mm,
we are triggered by so many options and opportunities and possibilities and interesting things. I mean, we can fill we can fill 60 hours per day with whatever that we could do, and that's not harmony. I mean, that's depletion. So basically, if you have what I'm working with, I'm launching this program again next month. What I'm working with is what I call a compass, a life fulfillment compass, where you have a very, very clear vision on who you are and
mm,
on the roles that you take up. And some roles might be overactive, and other roles might be forgotten. Like, yeah, I have a role there also. And
mm,
bringing that in awareness, and see what choices you can make there. Be aware about your passion, about purpose, about your values. Basically, these are reflection exercises, and a lot of us
mm.
don't do that because we are so busy. We have so many things to do. So
Right.
now what?
It's a little
Another hour
hamsters.
to sit down and journal on our values? Yes, yes, because they change.
Helena,
Because
I got to tell you something so cool. Okay, one of my interviews I was super excited to do was of Leonie Dawson, and she talked about how being neurodivergent is an asset in her business, and she is a multi-million-dollar mompreneur from Australia, right? And she said something in that interview I have just pondered and pondered. She said every Saturday she's also an artist. She gets out her journals and she journals on Saturday, and she journals about things she wants to create. She journals about how she's feeling. She journals about ideas she has. She journals about results that have happened. She journals about whatever she wants to, and she puts it all in this journal. And that's what she does on Saturdays. And she gets herself some delicious time by herself to do that. And I don't know about you, but recently I felt like life is so busy and there's so many demands on everyone.
Yeah.
And we get further and further away when we focus on doing. We get further and further and further away from our being.
Exactly.
And why
And
we're really,
I say that very often. We are human beings, not human doings. Just
yes.
be. Yeah. I have people coming here on retreats. They come here for like 5 days to reconnect with themselves, reconnect with nature, use nature as a lever for growth. And some of them, they're like, okay, what can we do? What can we talk about? I have another topic. And I say, no. Yeah, but I'm here. I only have 5 days. I said, I know. You have 5 days. You have 5 days open for you. Yeah. Yeah, but and these are the high achievers. And I love my clients, and I understand where it comes from. But basically we are addicted to being busy. And when we have nothing to do, just like sometimes I say, just go and sit somewhere that you have a nice view and do nothing. I cannot do that. Well, I think you can. It is possible. And so we are always extremely, extremely busy. Why?
Oh, you know what's so funny? I just put in the chat, Jim, we are addicted to being business. But actually, I meant being busy. But that's so perfect. It's perfect,
Yeah.
isn't it? We are addicted to being business too, right? We get addicted to being all business. We can get addicted to that, right? I know that so much. This is the other thing for all of you who are listening and watching, who are solopreneurs or small business owners. You know that this is true. When you go on vacation, you usually also do some form of business, right? We get addicted to always bringing business with us, don't we? And it becomes very hard to set those boundaries where we say, you know what? I am not going to do any work on Saturdays, or I'm going to go to my spiritual community, and I'm going to go to lunch with a friend on Sundays, and I'm going to hang out with my daughter and watch funny cartoons, whatever. But to carve out that time, and as you say, on these retreats that you hold, which Helena, you and I need to do something with that. We need to do a retreat together. You all, don't you think that would be awesome? Put yes over there. And even if you're listening later to this, put yes in the comments. But to do a retreat where people could enjoy Reiki self-healing and enjoy time to just sit and be, and time to journal, time to, as you say, be out in nature, just and time to have deep conversations.
Yeah.
Because if we don't chart a course, as you say, with your compass, the compass part of your program, if we don't chart the course, the world is going to chart a course for us that leads to what you said, that word, which is great, depletion.
Yep.
Depletion.
Absolutely.
I know you work with a lot of corporate women. When they come into you, how are they? Depleted, frustrated, stressed? How do they come to you?
For sure. Stress for sure. It's really funny because they land at Malaga airport. I go to pick them up personally. I make it a case to do that. And so we drive the 45 minutes to my place. And so we take the motorway, and we're still stressed, and and you can see that. And then the motorway, there's not a lot to see, so they talk, and there's a lot to say, and about work, and about why they're here, and about the travel, and then we take the the smaller roads, and then they start to notice something in the landscape, because it's obviously different from what they are used to. And then you can see that some of them already start to notice things around. And then we start to take the mountain way, yeah, like this. So some are like, okay, I'm afraid of heights, or others say, oh, this is amazing, this is beautiful, the views. And you can see in like half an hour, they already land a little bit. And then we take the dirt track, which is the last part. And then you see them like, where are we? Where are we? This is very isolated. Some just say it like, is this? I said, yeah, really, don't worry. I live here. It's okay. I got you. And then they come here. Mostly what they start doing is taking pictures because the views are amazing, Barnsley. They really are. And then the morning after, when I serve breakfast, they literally say, whew. And I said, yes, I know. And I have the blessing of be here all the time. Because can I tell you a little secret? I love what I do. I work a lot. I love my clients. I love my business. And at the same time, I also love something else. And that is also something I do here. I am basically making my child's dream come true. I'm a farmer. I have chickens. I have a vegetable
I love
garden.
it.
I have a herb garden. I have a big dog. I have fruit trees. I have everything. So sometimes I'm really literally with my hands in the earth, grounding. Yeah. And 10 minutes later, I am coaching. But because I combine these things so fluently and so in harmony, I can also be very, very present because I have the connection with nature, with the universe. And by doing that, I have the connection with myself. So my advice for men, for women, for entrepreneurs, for executives is try to find some space during every day, not only on holidays, not only in the weekends, but to find something to reconnect with yourself. And don't say, yeah, but I exercise and I jog and I do marathons. No, those are activities. Again, this is about doing something. Try to be with yourself so that you find a presence to also be with your team, to be with your clients, because the being is what gives us the connectedness. Does that make sense, Barnsley?
It absolutely, it is. I agree with you 100%. And you and I have talked about this before, but I've done Reiki daily for literally 31 years. Once in a while, I'll miss a day, but every day I do my Reiki self-treatment. And also my cats and dogs love to get on top of me while I do Reiki. So they get the benefit of it. And I have to say, people say to me all the time, you're so high energy. Well, I have to say that really the source of that is that I spend that time, right? I take that time in the morning. And I also like to listen to self-hypnosis too. I take that time to reconnect. And I've actually been thinking even more, Helena, about meditation. And we know that Google, that these huge, huge companies, and we have people like Jay Shetty, right, who are teaching folks to meditate and be present. And what the big companies find is that it greatly increases productivity. Because
Absolutely.
creativity does not come out of depletion. Creativity does not come out of burnout. And I would say that this is one of, and I'm getting chills as we talk about this. So I know it's very important for those of you listening to hear this today. You cannot create something new and amazing out of depletion, right? What you get is more depletion. And so taking that time for yourself and taking that time to know yourself, as you're pointing out, Helena, and taking that time to know what your highest values are and what is it you really value in the world, so that you can align every aspect of your life. Those moving parts of the mobile, those parts of the jigsaw puzzle will fit together instead of being a scattered hodgepodge, basically.
Yeah. And Barnsley, to take all this back to the topic of today, why coaching
Yeah.
programs don't work, is because a lot of coaching is focused on behavior. and on
Mm.
strategies, the tips and the tricks. Yeah.
That's the masculine model.
If you don't have your connection with your identity, with what is important to you, with your values, we didn't even talk about limiting beliefs and empowering beliefs. If that part is not coached, the rest will not stick, because it is
So
behavior that you will go back to your routine, you will go back to your comfort zone the minute that there is something happening where you say, oh, this is too much, and you will go back to what you were doing before you started the coaching. I had that so many times. This is basically why I continued working on different approaches. Why is it that this doesn't stick? I had clients who told me, Helena, we were having that conversation last week. We were even practicing. We were role modeling. And this morning I got in the situation and I did exactly what I did before. And I knew in the moment that it was not what I wanted to do, but it was stronger than myself. And I said, I know you are in your reptilian brain because you are
mm-hmm.
in stress and you just go back there. What we do is we activate basically the prefrontal cortex, where people are in harmony, where people see options and possibilities, where they build trust, where they go in relationship and in connection also with themselves. Yeah, I do a lot of body work also, like you already mentioned meditation, yoga, but also breath work, because by simply breathing right, you can calm your reptilian brain and activate your prefrontal cortex. And this is where the magic is, not there. Your reptilian brain only protects you
Oh, yeah.
from life dangers. And there are life dangers. I know that, but not the ones that we have every day, not the ones in the
Right.
office or in the car, in traffic, things like that. So basically, this is also our mindsets, our awareness of our values, of our vision, of our mission. This is basically your fundament to create growth, your fundament to be coached on in order to also then change your behavior. Because your behavior, your actions, your strategies result from who you feel and know that you are. What
Yes.
is really important to you. That's why you do certain things and you don't. And if you don't work at that level, then it never sticks. So be aware,
I
if you're
love what
looking for
you're
a coach, look for a coach that is coaching you on identity level. Yeah.
And look for a coach who also is doing this and understands that we don't get to a point. I am not at a point where I never fall back, and neither are you.
Yeah.
Anyone who says to you that they are unstoppable and all the time, this is not true. And
Yeah.
run. I would rather be real with my folks,
Mm-hmm.
and tell them exactly what's going on and say,
Yeah.
in this situation, I felt rejected. I felt pissed off. And I sat with that and I was angry. And then I got to ask myself, what did I gain? What did I
Mm-hmm.
learn? What were the connections that came out of this? And this is a situation I'm thinking about this week. And I get to reframe it. And so part of what we're responsible for doing as great coaches is modeling how you get out of reptilian brain. How do you get out of that place? And not
Exactly.
just saying, okay, we're going to activate the prefrontal cortex without really modeling it. And this
Yeah.
is something I'm getting chills on that too. I don't like posturing. You know this, Helena. I just like to, I speak what I think. And that's, some people are going to be turned off by that. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They can go to a fake ass coach. They could go to a fake ass coach because I'm the kick ass coach and I'm going to tell you the real deal, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they can go to the fake ass coach who's going to say, well, number one, number two, number three, and give them a
Yeah.
nice linear pattern, which, as you point out, if they don't change the mindset stuff, is never going to stick.
Yeah.
I want to be real with my folks. And
Mm-hmm.
part of having a business, it's like any long term relationship, it's like a marriage. There are going to be
Mm-hmm.
up times, there are going to be down
Yeah.
times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I like this metaphor of the compass, because
Yes.
you get lost, you get stuck, you get, you get overwhelmed. But if you
Yes.
have the compass, you will find your way back to where you want
Your
to go.
compass
That's
is your values.
basically exactly. Well, the compass is your awareness about your identity, your purpose, your
Mm,
values, and also your energy and focus boosters. So basically, this is what I call the compass. This is what I work with
mm.
my clients as like the minimum. And this is giving direction, because of course we are stuck. We cannot say that everything is perfect. There's so many things inside of us and around us are disruptive. Absolutely. But then if you know, I always say, okay, tomorrow is another day. Sometimes I go to bed early because I said, this day sucked. Sorry, this day was not okay. I just go to bed early. Tomorrow is another day. I can start over.
Yeah.
I messed up here. I can start over. I know I messed up because it's not aligned with my values. It's not aligned with what I wanted to achieve. I can start over tomorrow. We can start over anytime. So don't beat yourself up. Don't blame yourself. Don't let others blame you. We can always start over. Take the responsibility, be accountable, and just continue. And this is basically, for me, it's the only way. Yeah. With my compass.
I love that. I'm putting in here for everybody, your compass is your awareness of your identity, your values, and you said two more things. What were those again?
Purpose.
Purpose,
Yes. And because you have these three, you also can develop your energy and your focus boosters.
your
Because,
energy and focus boosters. Okay. I
yes,
love this. And so this is really, these are the cornerstones. These are the cornerstones of your program that
yes,
when people work with you, they use these exercises and these explorations that you've created to
yeah,
to reconnect with their identity, to find that purpose at
absolutely.
a deeper level, to find their energy and boosters. Focus busters. Well, we know what those are, right?
Okay.
And to find their values. Yeah,
Yeah,
focus busters.
absolutely.
Let's talk. That's like the whole world right now is a focus
Absolutely.
buster because
Mm,
we do everything backwards instead of being first and then doing
yeah,
and then having. We focus on having,
yeah.
at least in the United States. Let's just buy another TV. Let's buy another printer. Let's have.
Mm,
And when we neglect the being part of who we are,
hmm. Yeah,
we become miserable.
we are. And basically, that's what we are doing now, Barnsley, because we did not prepare this conversation at all.
Right.
We just
No,
talked about, we just picked a topic. We know each other. We know there's an energy and there's a good interaction. But we are here. We are not focused on anything else than on this conversation and bringing awareness and service to the audience. Also, that is
exactly.
being. And a lot of conversations, the conversations with ourselves, conversations with other people, they are basically constantly interrupted and disrupted by mainly this, yeah, and many other things. I have to say that I keep this to check the time because I'm aware of the time. But
Mhm.
my phone normally is on silent. Some people don't like that, but my clients, they know that. They send me a WhatsApp, and a few times per day I check my messages. But when I am doing something, I am with that project. When I'm with a person, I am with that person. I'm focused. It's even when I'm cooking, I am cooking. And
Beautiful.
if my phone is on and it rings, I let it ring. And then my partner said, "Your phone is ringing." I say, "Yes, I know. You have to pick up." I said, "No, I don't. I'm cooking." "But you don't
No,
know
you
who it is."
don't.
I said, "Well, I'll see later.
They
Now I
can
am
leave a
cooking and I
message.
am enjoying the cooking. And I don't want to go, because probably somebody from a call center is calling. And so basically, I'm cooking. It is kind of mindfulness. And that is
It's
very, very, very important.
mindfulness, and the power of focus is incredible. The
Mm,
power of focus. When we are focused, we can get so much more actually created, actually done than when we're unfocused. And they have proven, there are studies out there, and I know you know these, Helena, and for those of you listening, multitasking does not make you more productive. It makes you more stressed. It drives your cortisol levels up, the stress hormones in the body. It gets you into your reptilian brain when you overdo it. And then it takes you hours and hours to come back to a place where you can actually be in a calm state and get things done. We are living in a society of interruptions. And I am just like you, even though I have my cell phone, I love my cover, right? Van Gogh. I have it always upside down and I have it on silent. And my daughter knows, do not call me because I don't even check my voicemails much. But I do look at my texts periodically during the day. And I do get all my clients. I say, if you want to reach me, you text me, you don't email, because I am not hanging out in email. I am with people making a difference, either enrolling them in something in a program, or I'm doing a video or a show with someone, or I'm delivering coaching to my clients. But I am not going to be going over here, shifting gears every second and forgetting where I was. This is a very powerful point you're making, Helena. And I'm sure the listeners are thinking, but how can I do this? Oh my God. You mean I have to put my phone on silent? You mean I can't be just having 5 windows open on my computer at the same time? I can't have 3 screens?
And the pop-ups you have in your mail, you have in your WhatsApp. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We are fatigued.
It's an addiction.
Yes, and we're fatigued by it because electromagnetically speaking, when you sit here in front of your computer all the time, right? It's one of the reasons I move around. I'll work at my counter sometimes. Sometimes I'll have my feet up and I've just got my phone over here. I will work in different places. Sometimes I'll walk and work. It's so important that we are moving and changing our environment and not allowing ourselves to be drained by all the technology. We want to be in command of the technology rather than the reverse.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Helena, we really haven't talked about men. Sorry, guys. They're like,
well, maybe now they understand us a little bit better. So there's a benefit for them in that.
Well, we did say things that are applicable to all entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And we certainly, those of you who are just joining us now, we've been talking about things that set women apart from men generally, because we tend to be more relational. We tend to be more nurturing in our businesses. We tend to see business as a relationship rather than just a transaction. But when we come to, and here's the thing, really, we're talking about masculine ways of being and feminine ways of being. It's not necessarily about gender, but there are some socialization factors and there are some physiological factors as well that affect us. So that being said, Helena, why do these really linear, prescriptive coaching models that also don't work with your mindset and work with your state of being, as we pointed out, why do these coaching models that are really like, step 1, 2, 3, 4, why do they really not work for men too? What do you see?
I see pretty similar things in terms of mindsets, in terms of identity. 70% of the coaching clients are women. We are much more focused on personal growth. I mean, in terms of leadership coaching, authentic leadership coaching, executive coaching, 70% are women. If you look at corporate coaching, most of these coachings are initiated by their N+1. They're like kind of curative. Yeah,
exactly. There's been a bad review, a bad performance review.
Exactly. Something is not right, or something needs to be developed in order to make the promotion that is,
Mm-hmm.
in the picture. So basically, when you have an intake at that moment, you have an intake with your coachee and we talk about man or her boss. And then we are talking about very specific leadership skills like strategic acumen, executive
Mm-hmm.
presence,
Mm-hmm.
communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
feedback,
Leading
delegation,
a
that's more
team.
for women, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, those are all qualities and they're skills. They're skills.
Yeah. So they don't really address who that person is, and
Exactly.
how does that person, that unique individual in front of you, how does that
Mhm.
person interface with these skills, right? Because the way that you communicate is very different from the way that I communicate, which is very different from the way another
Yeah,
executive communicates or another business
exactly.
owner. And
Yeah,
so what I'm hearing is it's very uh, it's skills oriented, not self oriented. And
exactly.
if we don't manage
Yeah.
ourselves, if we can't
Mhm.
manage ourselves, how can we ever expect anyone else to be managed by us?
Exactly. Yeah. On top of that, basically coaching is systemic
Mm,
because in an organization, but also in a business,
mhm,
you do not only coach that person. I mean, that person is related to other people that have an impact. So the interaction between those people also have an impact on how this person performs. So if you
mm.
leave that out of the equation, it is very, very difficult because you could say, okay, this leader needs to develop more delegation skills, and then he has a team that is not competent, that is very, very junior, or there's people left his team and are not yet replaced or replaced by so you have a system. As a business owner, you also, or an entrepreneur, you also have a system. So if you only work on the skills and on behavior, it it, it doesn't make sense. I don't know if you understand what I
Yeah, without a
what I try
system,
to
it won't
explain.
be
It doesn't make
sustained.
sense.
It
Mhm.
won't be sustained without a system.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
yet again. And what I'm hearing you say too is that that system is not necessarily a linear system
Hmm.
at all.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
in fact, okay, so I know we've got to close shortly in just a few minutes. What an interesting discussion, though. Thank everybody who's here. I want you to think, those of you who are listening and watching, whether it be right now with us live or it's in the future, have you been to a developing nation? And when you go to a developing nation, the notions of time are completely different. So when you're in
Mm.
Guatemala, the time that the bus leaves says 10 o'clock, but the bus might leave at 5 in the afternoon.
Exactly.
It's just a completely different perspective of time. And it's not linear at all. It's very holistic. And so, what
Hmm.
is a holistic? And linear time really is a Western way of viewing time, just as these coaching models are linear and they
Mm.
leave out this whole aspect of being and the natural
Exactly.
time that might be needed to develop oneself as a leader. I guess that's more a comment than a question, Helena, but how do you think this these concepts of time relate also to coaching? It takes a while for us to come into who we are, right? We never can
Absolutely.
prescribe exactly the time or the linear time frame for that.
Absolutely no. The thing is that if you are aware of your identity and your role and how you want to fulfill your role as a leader,
Mm,
for example,
mm,
or as a tourist in Guatemala, if
mhm,
you have a view on how you want to be, then you will act congruently.
mm, mm,
But if we go back to the leader, if I coach a leader to develop better delegation skills. But this leader in his head is a controller. He feels that he cannot trust his team, or he feels that everybody is looking at him, or what in his department all the major decisions are made, and if he makes a mistake, it's a drama. If that is in his head, do you think he will delegate ever? No
Never.
way. No way. So you work here like, okay, what is your role in this organization? How do you see yourself as a leader? How do you see the others? And how do you see the world? Because it's a matrix. We have these three relationships with ourselves, others, and world. And this is where you work on. You reframe, you refocus, you redirect, like you already told a story earlier. And then from that, you decide. And from that thing, you delegate or not. And it's the identity and the role, I say, like here, because it's so much in the mind of people. It's so much in the ego of who they think they are. Yeah. But that's another conversation, Barnsley. I
That's a
think we
whole
can
nother conversation
continue for
right
that.
there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Oh
I
my
hope it does
goodness.
make sense a little bit and
Yes, it
clear
does.
some.
It does. And I love what you said about it's our relationship. We have three very important relationships, our relationship with self. And I would also say with source, because whatever you want to call that, God, source, nature,
Yeah.
love, creative spirit, people have different Allah, whatever. But that self, we have that relationship with self, we have the relationship with others, and then we have the relationship with the world. And when we are not clear about our relationship with self, there's no way we can be authentic in the world or in our relationships with others.
Exactly.
It's if the bullseye isn't there, we can't hit the bullseye.
Exactly.
So I love what you're saying, and I can tell just from talking with you today, Helena, how much you have to offer our listeners in terms of understanding themselves and having that compass that we talked about earlier, and having ways to really drill down and explore and figure out, hey, what do you stand for? What do you really stand for in the world? Who am I really? Why am I here? All these questions that are really essential if we are to lead a life of meaning. So,
Absolutely.
Helena, I know you have something. You have a gift. We love gifts, don't we, everybody? Those of you listening, I want you in your head to say, yeehaw, yeehaw. So what would
Yeah.
you like to give us? We've got to wrap up here, but what would you like to give the listeners to give them exposure to you and more of your message in conscious leadership?
My gift is an invitation to join the Her Space community. Unfortunately, this gift and invitation is women only. My apologies, guys. But if you connect with me directly, there's other things I can do for you. But if you are joining Her Space, which is a community of smart, conscious, and high achieving women, then you get informed of all the free things that I am creating for you, which is like monthly master classes, special events. I'm going to do a festival in September. Barnsley, I have to talk about that with you, because I'm going to do like an online retreat, a festival for people that are looking to rejuvenate and replenish and refresh. And as a Her Space community member, you get 30% off the programs that I do. So it's a no-brainer. And
I love it. Where do they find her space? Where do they
well,
find it?
basically, if they go to helenadunuynck.com, which is on
Mhm,
my screen here, they
mhm.
have a space, free resources. And if you scroll there, you can access her space. You can just, register for her space. And my her space members are treated very, very generously, not only with the free stuff that is exclusively for her space, but also with serious reductions and premiums on the paying programs. Yeah.
I love that. And you all, by the way, those of you listening, I have my virtual assistant now working on a vault where we will have all the gifts of all the guests, the badass guests who have
Wow,
come on Bold
beautiful.
Badass Business available. So you all can opt in there. And even if you didn't hear a particular episode, you can still avail yourselves of the free gift. So this is something that's coming soon, you all, coming soon. And I'm super excited. That vault is going
Beautiful.
to be a free gold mine for you. It's like you going out and going into your front yard and suddenly you find this pot of gold there and you say, oh my God. And you'll have all those resources that these guests have brought. Helena, you've given us so much to think about today. And I certainly am taking away from what you've said. I'm really taking away this fundamental connection to self and my own identity, so that we really know our own identity and have a compass that comes from within instead of externally to build conscious leadership. I really appreciate that. And all the other points you've made. You've been an incredible guest. And those of you here, you know that you can also go to spirited-solutions.com, spirited-solutions.com, and you can grab my complimentary ebook, How to Overcome Overwhelm in 7 Easy Steps. And actually, this goes very well with some of what we were talking about today, how we need to get out of that reptilian brain and into our prefrontal cortex and bring this to our leadership, to our businesses, to our families, to our communities. So Helena, give us one last quick one-liner that you would like everyone to remember from today. Just one thing you want them to take with them.
You always have the chance to start over, whatever you messed up. That's the most important.
I love that. Thing. You always have the chance to start over, whatever you messed up. It's been an incredible show on Bold Badass Business. If you are just tuning in now, you are going to want to go back and listen to the whole thing while you wash the dishes or wash the clothes or sit with your feet up doing nothing but listening. And again, we will be back next week, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, with another amazing human being who's going to bring us badass secrets to boost your business and bring you the fulfillment, the joy, the power that you deserve. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and I'll see you next week. And thanks again, Helena.
Bye-bye.